If you see my last video, you should probably know that there is an error with the English translation of Vishuvac new chain skill. So I repost this video to fix the error in my full review. With that being said, then let's start. So, you want to know more about Vishuvac's second exclusive weapon? Then this video is for you. Today we will have a character review of Vishuvac with her second exclusive weapon, Volcanic core. We will talk about her new abilities, exclusive weapon stats, suggested builds, and I will give you my thoughts on her overall kit. Let's go straight to her abilities. Equipping her second exclusive weapon Volcanic core will change her overall stats and abilities. Vishuvac will now have a party buff of 45% skill damage and a fire attack plus 25% at maximum awakening. She also has skill damage plus 5% and a plus 5% attack increase on enemy kill for 10 seconds. Her party buff is very useful in DPS, especially in guild raid. Her normal attack is now called Flame Artillery. It is separated to a normal attack and a character skill. Flame Burst. Throws a fireball to inflict damage to the enemy. On hit, recover allies' HP by 1% for 1 second. Her attack can pass through walls, so it can be good at kiting enemies. Dragon's Shout. With a shout, increase her defense by 25% and nearby allies' crit hit multiplier by 50% for 4 seconds. It has a cooldown time of 6 seconds. The first buff, 25% defense, is also a very good buff for survival in hard stages or in PvP. The second buff, 50% crit hit multiplier, is a very good DPS that can be very useful in guild raids. Her chain skill is now called Flame Bomb. It is also airborne. Inflict 455% of DPS damage by gathering flame energy and throwing it to the enemy. Reduce enemies' defense by 20% for 5 seconds. As we all know, the buffs and debuffs are the most important stats in the guild raids. That is why these characters are very famous units in every team composition. Her special ability is now called Flame Augmentation. Increase damage dealt to the enemy by 50% of crit hit chance. Dragon's Shout additionally increase fire type attack by 25% for 4 seconds. I think this buff is not a crit multiplier. It is an additional damage taken from your crit hit chance. Let's say your Vishu have a 20% crit hit chance. The half of 20% is 10%, which means your Vishuvac will have a 10% damage increase to the enemy. It also means that the more crit hit chance, the stronger she become. I haven't tested it yet with party buff. Now let's see her exclusive weapon. Her exclusive weapon is called Volcanic core and it's an epic gauntlet. It has high defensive stats compared to her previous weapon. What cools about this weapon is the new animation. Vishuvac is now flying. It is very much looks like her default illustration. Her weapon skill is called Incineration. It is level 5. It has an attack of 240% DPS and a regen time of 8.5 seconds. Concentrate flames in front of her instantly to deal damage. Puts enemies in an injured state. Her weapon skill is like Mariel's weapon skill. You should be close to the target to have a successful hit. Collecting this weapon will grant you a permanent defense stats plus 1%. Now let's go to our content checklist. In this checklist, we will have 3 indicators. Green check for good, orange check for average, and red X for bad. For story mode, she is a very useful DPS in the party. She can also help with solving some puzzles because her normal attack can pass through walls. So it's a green check for story mode. Just like the developer said, her new weapon is focusing on guild raid, specifically on a range fire team. Look at this DPS output in Scarecrow. It is definitely a green check for guild raid. In Colosseum, I think Lena and Vishuvac party can now counter the Kamale team. However, it will be bad against the new meta with Sea Witch Aura. So, it's an orange check for Colosseum. I think her first weapon is much better when it comes to arena. Volcanic core skill is very hard to aim, which is very important in the arena. But it has potential in stages that have many obstacles. It is also an orange check for arena. Which one is better, the first exclusive weapon or the second one? I think it depends on the game content that you will plan to use it. Now let's go to item build. If you are planning to use her in story mode, I recommend getting the amethyst earring from the Kamazin equipment shop for only 24,900 gold. It will give you good stats for high DPS. You can upgrade to high toughness accessories for higher level enemies. I will not recommend Ruby Mirror Ring for new players because it consumes a lot of option stones to get good stats. For cards, if you are a new player, I recommend getting these 2 cards in Kamazin equipment shop for only 60,000 gold each. It is 1 attack card and 1 defense card. You can use 2 defense cards for difficult stages. For merch, use Seal Goddess Snow Globe for additional toughness and fire element damage. If you are planning to build a guild raid team with her, I recommend these team compositions against Fire Boss. For your accessories, use gold pocket watch and sharpshooter for a low budget build. You can upgrade to Minotaur's necklace for the endgame build. For cards, use 1 crit card and 1 attack card. You can also use 2 attack cards if you don't have crit card. For merch, use Sealed Goddess Snow Globe when fighting Earth Element boss. Switch to Mariel Cushion when fighting other element boss. You can upgrade to Statue of Bravery and Invader Mothership for the endgame build, but make sure to use them correctly. If you are planning to use her in Colosseum, use Sharpshooter for accessory on a low budget build and use Minotaur's necklace if you afford to buy one for 600 medals. For cards, use 1 crit card and 1 attack card. For merch, use Agna plastic model for melting enemy tanks. You can also use the Statue of Bravery as an alternative if you are planning to use her in arena. I recommend using high toughness accessories. You can use Ring of Fortress for a low budget build and upgrade to Mad Panda Brooch and Earth Necklace for the late game build. For cards, use 2 defense cards for additional toughness. You can also use 1 injury negate card if you already have good toughness from accessories. For merch, use Statue of Bravery for high DPS. You can also use Sealed Goddess Snow Globe for the low budget build.
범죄를 위해 컴백. 뭐해? 울어?
That's it for now, don't forget to subscribe and see you on the next video.